Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are again. So welcome to the weekly Knitties Dev stream. Just gonna send a few socials out. And notify people that we're up. Hi, Tosi. I've had to sort my office out this week because my girlfriend's working from home for 2 days a week, and we're starting the next couple of weeks. So she's going over there, but I've had to move everything around. So the layout's changed. Nice new skate deck behind me. Just a test piece of the Aeon deck from S2. Just seeing what this like skateboard printing service in the UK was like. The colours aren't great, to be honest. Like, they don't really match the Aeon colours, but then Aeon's colours are quite hard to get right. You know, 'cause these sort of like gradient pastel shades and all that kind of stuff. I was told today that this is like a bit of an awkward time, the 3 to 5 o'clock. Well, 3 to 5 o'clock UTC time is a bit awkward across time zones. So might have to look at that and make it maybe a little bit later next time around. Hi, Gaik. What have we got going on at the moment apart from the alphas, which I'll walk through, like updates and stuff on later, and we'll see if we can get a few people in the alpha. That'd be pretty awesome if we can get a few people running around at once. We've obviously already done that, but yeah, this latest iteration of the alpha will be like your Knitty, your custom Knitty that you're running around as, which is pretty cool. What else is going on? So next Monday we're on Clay's After Dark, which is the Clay Twitter space run by their community team, I think. We're on that at, I believe it's 7 p.m. UTC. So we've got that going on. We're also going to be going on Cardano over coffee pretty soon. I just need to book the slot for that. Hero Pool just DM'd us and said could we come on, so we're going to go on. Should be pretty cool. Hi, Potato. Yeah, so a couple of things coming up, but obviously most of the work we're doing at the moment is on the alpha and trying to get everything up and running and all that kind of stuff with the alpha. So the current stage we're at is we dropped the most recent alpha in the we dropped it to boosters, and if anyone who's a Knitty holder wants to get access to it, then just go into Discord and ask one of the boosters or ask for access to the alpha, and someone will send you the link. It is very alpha, as all of our alphas are, so yeah, just bear that in mind. Oh, and there is something else going on the Discord as well, so thank you for reminding me. Potato is running the KnitFit fitness program. So if you want to be part of that, then just go over into the Discord and ask Potato for access to the community event channel. I don't know, has it started yet? I wasn't sure if it's actually started yet, or whether there was like a formal thing. Oh yeah, week 1. So we're in week 2 at the moment. Okay, cool. So get on over there, and if you're interested in participating in that. We've also been discussing some pretty cool collaboration opportunities with other brands on Cardano. And let's see, one of them is pretty much locked in, in terms of agreement to do it, which is awesome. Not going to say who it is, but yeah, definitely one of the largest, one of the largest brands on Cardano, which is pretty awesome. And we've been discussing, we've been having a chat with a few other projects as well. So yeah, we've got some interesting collabs coming on, and that's going to be, we're only going to do those once we've got a like an interesting gameplay scenario going on in our alpha releases. So at the moment we're just refining things, and then we're going to work on adding some actual, like a little gameplay mechanic. Not sure what it'll be. I was thinking of something a little bit like Fall Guys, maybe for 16 players. We'll see. I mean, stuff like that's fairly straightforward to set up, but we're actually really engaged in network testing at the moment. So because we're not running off of an authoritative server, we are running in a very decentralized manner, actually, in a client authoritative setup. We need to figure out how those kind of gameplay systems work within that type of arrangement. So that's what a lot of the alphas are testing at the moment, and I think we're pretty good on them, actually. We've got some pretty cool, we've got some pretty smooth gameplay going on, or movement going on, in the latest alphas. So where are we at the moment? Well, I can show you where I'm at on the local build. I have just sent this build up to Adam, but Adam will be in bed still, I expect, and this should hopefully go up on to replace the previous alpha this evening, hopefully. So let me just show you where we're up to. So what's changed since the last alpha drop? And when by last alpha drop, I mean the one that we dropped the day before yesterday, I think it was. Let me just get my controller on. Ooh, come out of that. Whenever you turn the Xbox controller on in the editor, in the Unity editor, and it's not been on for a little while, it comes up with this really interesting debug screen. Don't know why that is, but when it does come on and you interact with it, it crashes. So anyway, so where are we up to? There is this slot here for expression now. So obviously expressions are something that are a slot for the Knitties. So the S1s have, I think, there's 7 different expressions if you include the black labels. And then there are there's the Eternal Wallet connection as well there. I mean, these things are temporary. It looks very developerish at the moment because it is. And yeah, this will all be changing. I guess UI needs to be on one of the sort of like priority lists for development, because it is quite important, because obviously it's something that everyone sees and interacts with. So maybe I should spend a bit of time working on that once I've pinned down a few other things. So yeah, I can connect to my NAMI from this, but this is local, so this isn't going to work right now. This is a like a local development build. Hi, Kristen. Yeah, got the whole hat and everything going on here. I'm surrounded by Knitties merch, including including the skateboard over there. What's the floor on those now? Goodness. I don't know if that one that was 2,500 sold or not. I want to check out JPEG, but anyway, we'll do that later. So I'll do another build later on, so you can kind of see like the speed of it. So when you see the wallet load up here, that's not a realistic speed. That's just a local test wallet. And what's pretty cool about the way that I've set it up locally on the dev machine is that I can, if anyone ever has an issue, like if there's a bug with a particular person's wallet. So for example, who was it who was having a problem earlier? Citarada or Citrada. That in the web browser, there's a JSON output that you can copy and paste and just send it through to me, and I can put it into the local wallet and test it and find out exactly what the problem is locally. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what button I click on here. So we're starting to get the expressions in, which is pretty cool and kind of just ramps up the different possibilities with the Knitties by some margin. So yeah, we can switch between different expressions on here. Not all of the expressions for S1 are in yet, so I think there's only 2 expressions for S1 in, and one of them still needs to be tweaked. I was actually playing around with the colours for these, and I really like this bright pink. Like the other ones had, like the original S2s had this kind of pale pink colour to them. I really like this bright pink here, so I think I might go with that, because I think it just pops, especially when the Knitties are a bit further away, like they are in the sort of arena environment, Yeah. But this one here, you can see that pale pink colour there for the cute expression. I just don't think it pops quite, like at distance. It's just not quite enough. I think that's okay for like when we've got the plasters. It says the Knitties with the plasters on their face, but I think that hot pink is really, really where it's at. Hi, okay. So let's have a quick just scroll through. What else changed? Yeah, you can't see the Eternal update until I go into the browser. So yeah, you won't see that working, but it works exactly the same as the Nami. Obviously, there won't be buttons like this when we change the UI. It will be a bit different. Okay, we got some of the other shoes in now. So the pirate shoes, for example, the sparrow shoes, they're in. You can kind of mess about with these a little bit. Oh, rotate's stopped working. I appear to have broken rotate. I should probably go in and fix that, so I don't know what's going on there. I was messing about with the buttons, so I've done something with the buttons, haven't I? Yeah, so I'd never get tired of hit and shuffle. It's pretty cool. And I think as we start increasing the number of assets that are in, because I've got a spreadsheet somewhere. Where is it? I did have it here. That's Twitter. Here we go. So these are our S2 assets, and there's 103 jobs still to do on this. Like, so there's loads of work still to do. So it's 103 slots for S2 still to fill, essentially. And that's not to mention like the other assets that are going into this. I'm also playing around with compression at the moment, and resolutions just to try and optimize and get the right level of compression. You can see here on this hat, the compression is probably a little bit too much, so probably on the higher detail items that tend to be the focus of the camera, I need to up the resolution on those. But this resolution works perfect with things like the shoes, right? So yeah. So let's build our Knitty. I'm quite fond of this setup at the moment. Actually, I think this kind of works really well. We've got the S1 trousers in, but they're only temporary. They're going to be, hopefully, we're going to figure out a way of making them look a little bit more trouser-like, you know, because they kind of look just a little bit flat at the moment. The trousers will be the same as the yarn colour. They weren't always going to be like that. They were going to be the same colour as the hoodie or the hat originally, but then we decided that having them as the yarn colour was just staying a bit more true to the original S1 artwork, so that's what we're doing. Okay, so let's pick one, let's just pick those, and we've got the ones that you're used to seeing, but we've also got a few more in there, but we also got the Cosmo pack in there, which is you can't see it because the rotate button's not working, so hopefully that's all worked. So hit save and we'll jump into the arena. I'm just gonna, now this is all using the same relays at the moment, so if anyone else was on, then they'd be able to join my game by entering that, but I don't know how that's going to work because there's some stuff on my Knitty. I think the expression is not in the other builds, so you probably, there might be an error or something if you try and log into this whilst I'm playing. I'll unmute it so you can hear stuff, and hopefully that's not too loud. So yeah, I mean, at this kind of, like, we've got to strike this balance with the resolution because we don't want people to be having to download like 800 megabytes of WebGL file in their browser. I mean, the cool thing about web obviously is it's going to cache what you download, so as long as you don't delete your cache, then you'd don't have to download it again until it's updated, right? Until, like, if we release an update, then you have to download the 800 again, the 800 megabytes again. So you only have to download it once per version, unless you're deleting your cache. But ideally, we want it to be a bit faster than that. But then there's a trade-off, right, with resolution and that kind of stuff. And there was a conversation Potato was having with another developer the other day, and they were raising, they're actually pivoting from WebGL into deliverable applications, like just application based, which presents a whole new load of problems. But one of the problems they were hoping to resolve was like the download time. But the problem is like the thing with that is that every time you release an update, you still got to download the application. So it's kind of the same as WebGL, really. So it's not really a great reason. But these Knitties are generally a certain distance away from the camera. Like, and if I know that the hat is only ever going to be X amount of pixels tall, then there's no point having the texture larger than that, right? So there's a bit of work to be done around that and figuring out exactly what size the textures need to be without too much compromise in terms of graphical fidelity. There's a couple of clipping issues, obviously, and this is stuff that will be fixed in the next iteration of artwork fixes. This isn't going to be fixed in this set of alpha builds that we're working on. Yeah, so this is all working pretty well, and it's very smooth. We've changed a few bits around the physics, like the way that the client relationships work now render physics a bit more challenging. So Knitties aren't going to go flying across the screen when there's a bomb. planted. They just do a little fall over, and that's that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're up to, which is pretty cool. I think that's some pretty big steps, and there was a post by I can't remember who it was it Makosi, the Makosi project, where they were saying that, or someone was saying, are we the first project, are Makosi the first project with 3D NFTs in a game engine online, or that kind of stuff? And we're like, no, you're not actually. And that isn't actually out yet either. I don't think their stuff. So their latest alpha isn't out yet with that functionality, I don't think. So yeah, pretty cool. Not into vanity metrics really, but you know, I'm pretty pleased with the progress we've made over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Well, it's 4 weeks, isn't it? Yeah, pretty pleased with it. Okay, so obviously, if you've got any questions or anything you want to see, then let me know. I've actually put in another expression that I was going to add into the expression set. Yeah, Cosmo Backpack's pretty cool, and it goes with a lot of stuff because there's no straps. Because the idea was it was supported like through the suit on Cosmo, so there's no straps to make fit all of the different other clothing items, which is nice. So yeah, I bought in another expression, so I might just get that up and running. And again, this is on my other screen at the moment, but if I load up this over here, then you should be able to get a look at what I'm doing, hopefully. This is one of the really annoying things about the old UI system in Unity, is that it sort of exists within the game world space. It's really weird. But the UI is at like true screen resolution, and that resolution doesn't translate to editor resolution, which is why it's just massive. There is a newer method. There's a new method of doing that, but generally I find it a lot easier just to use the old method for development and then shift to the newer method when you're ready. Okay, so there is another expression here, and it is the chief expression. These things come in absolutely tiny at the moment, because there was a point when we were going to be building stuff at true world scale. So Knitties would be like, 15 centimeters tall. But unfortunately that didn't work out. The reason that didn't work out is because of networking predominantly. It was a networking issue that actually made us change that. So essentially it works a bit more like Lord of the Rings now, the films Lord of the Rings, where in Hobbit, in what's that? Is it Hobbiton? What is it? The Shire. In the Shire, like for filming purposes, all of the buildings are like weird sizes, and so like the buildings are big when the hobbits are moving through them, and then they're smaller when larger characters are moving through them. The Knitty world is about 8 times larger than the real world, so this is what you're looking at here, is like an 8-meter long desk, basically. It's really annoying, but it also means that like our animation systems work a little bit better as well. So okay, I need to apply some materials and stuff to this, and I also need to just tweak a few bits on the other screen to get it up and running, and then we'll be able to switch to the chief expression in the engine. So I'm just going to work through these things. So what I'm doing here is you can't see me doing it, but I'm playing around with the hierarchy of the imported object to make sure it works with my reskinning system. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some different materials to it so that it's consistent with the rest of the objects. Okay, there we go. Looks a bit weird at the moment because it's facing it away from the light. There's nothing to worry about though. And then I'll go into pull this out, and this should be ready to input into the system. So I've got to add it to the set of assets that Knitties can use. So pull that in, and this is the chief expression. Okay, so that should be ready to go. So let's see how we've done. Okay, Toast asking, will it be possible for the Knitty expression to change in game if you do certain emotes? It's certainly a possibility, yeah. It's fairly trivial to change it. Well, I say trivial. I mean, I've built a really awesome tool that does it. You know, in previous streams, I've talked about how the conventional method is just to have every expression on every Knitty, and then you just turn on or off the ones you do or do not want. My method is more optimal long term, but short term probably is not as optimal as that method. I mean short term as in, like, if you want to change every frame, then my method is not the optimal method, but my method is definitely the optimal method for running around with exactly the same Knitty for a longer period of time without changing items. You know, if you're just changing items periodically, then my method is super, like, so much more optimal. And will it be possible to change? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can do it. Like the system that I developed can do it with any object on the Knitty at any point. You know, we've obviously done the hats. We changed into a Christmas hat, which is fairly easy. We did them. There was that pad you could stand on and change yourself whenever you wanted to previously as well. That was doing exactly the same thing, but to everything on the Knitty. In fact, if I had expressions in there at that time, you would be able to, that would have changed as well. But I didn't have expressions in at that time. So will it be possible for the Knitty expressions to change in game if you do certain emotes? Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm thinking, one of the things I'd like to get done within the next couple of work packages is getting the selfie camera, because it's not really a selfie camera at the moment. What I'd like to do is get an actual PFP camera where it's a bit closer, so it frames the face and the shoulders and the torso, right? So we have the whole sort of bust type character, you know, so like the bust is generally from the mid stomach up, plus it's like from your belly button up. So we'll try and capture that in the PFP and possibly have it so you can change background colors and then hit a button and it's going to export that out for you, basically. So that's what I'd like to get, that's the point I'd like to get to. Right, so what are we doing here? We're just testing that expression has come in. Chief expression, and there we go. So the chief expression, the chief face had stripes down it. Now those stripes, I think I'm gonna put those into a facial object. So one of the extra slots we're gonna have in here is a face item. So we've got Maxi had glasses for that, and I'm gonna pull off all of the other items off of the other S2s that had face items like eye patches, and you'll be able to use those as well to customize your Knitties if you've got them, which will be pretty cool. And then you add that additional layer in, and now you're getting up into millions and millions. I think what was the number in Team Chat the other day, and I couldn't quite believe it when I calculated it, based on existing assets, like how many, if you had a full set of S2s, 2.4 billion. I think it was more than that. So even Adam was like, whoa. and we're just confirming that we're doing permutations correctly. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, 2.4 billion. Okay. So yeah, 2.4 billion. If you've got all S2s, then there's like 2.4 billion different possibilities for any given S1, right? It's crazy. And the interesting thing is like, okay, so I told you that there's going to be another slot in here, but there's going to be other slots as well that we're not talking about too much just yet, but there will be other slots to customize your knitty. There'll be rank slots, so there'll be rank, like you'll be able to rank your knitty based on various things and customize based on that as well, which is pretty cool, I think. So like the more like zones you complete, you know, that sort of thing, the higher your rank, the more items you've got, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to penalise people who haven't got like an absolute ton of different items, but yeah, there'll be like different things like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I can't believe I broke that rotate button. I'll have to have a look at what that is in a second. But yeah, so chief expression is in. One thing I didn't realise was like, as we moved through into S2, the expressions just became a little bit bigger. So the S1 expressions, like the mouths on them are a bit small. So I might go back in and change those. Just make them a little bit bigger. I love that one. It's like my favourite expression probably, the switch expression. Yeah. Okay, so I'm nearly up to 1 million uniques just in this wallet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the script for this and just see if I can fix this UI issue. I think what it was, I was just duplicating buttons earlier and I've messed up something. So yeah, so Guy, it is yeah. I've added a button for that, so I'll show you that in just a second. I'll do a web build once I fix this rotate button, and I'll show it to you working, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, so go over here and see what's going on. Yes, I got an exception getting thrown up, which is a bit annoying. So what happens when you sort of change stuff right before the stream. So I was just trying to get Eternal working this afternoon, and obviously messed something up here. Okay. Yeah, what I'll have to do is just quickly test this again and see what's going on. Okay. Try that again. Okay. Right. Okay, I've got a feeling this is going to work in WebGL mode. Just verify that. Can't say for sure. Okay, well, we can test it and find out. Because it should all be working. Oh, hang on, let me just test one more thing. Ooh, okay. Right. Typo. So I know this isn't always the most interesting stream. Like, there's a problem with live development, isn't it? Like, yeah. I just need to compile this script. Let's see. Hey, there we go. It's something I added in for Eternal. I'd used lowercase for one of the names, and it was thrown an exception which kicked it out of the function. And the next step in the function was to find the nitty for rotation. So therefore, the nitty for rotation was never assigned because of a typo on the previous line. There we go. Damn, these look so good. Okay. Ada Planet, hello. Hi, Rowdy. Okay, so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do. Oh, look, we've got the. Oh, I missed it. Hang on a second. Let's wait for it to come back around. Just playing around with ways of adding personality. So I've got the super knit in here at the moment, but when I'm customizing, yeah, there's a little timeout. So if you take a certain amount of time, then it's going to time out, and Knitty's going to be like, "What you doing?" And then if you update right when the Knitty does that, it'll give you a sarcastic reaction. There we go. So, pretty cool. Yeah, Superknit yarn is really good. Like, it's really bright. I really love the bright, vibrant colours on these, which is why I want some of the default knitties, the people who don't have S1s, to be really bright and quite vibrant, so that they really stand out when people are posting them on socials. Right, so let's run a build then, and I'll show you Eternal working, hopefully. Switch the build settings over. And what we can do is, if anyone else is on their computer, we can set up a room and get a few people running around in it. That would be pretty cool. And you can see what I'm seeing then as well. So like when I'm saying like, "Oh, is Joe's connection a bit odd or something?" you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. Oh, or will we? No, we'll have to do it in the booster link. We won't be able to do it using this version. Well, we can, but there might be some oddities because my Knitty has access to different assets now than the alpha version that's available for boosters. Okay, let's give this a number. And I should probably just jump into team chat and say, "Adam, don't upload that latest build." Okay, I don't think he's seen it yet. I don't think he's up. So I'll just delete it. Okay, yeah, so this takes a little bit of time to do the web build. Takes a few minutes. So I can answer any other questions or talk about anything else you want me to talk about. Had some auction wins, haven't we? We had an auction win last stream, I think it was. I think I mentioned it last stream. Been a couple of other auctions won, I believe, as well. I've entered like 35 auctions now, and I've not won a thing. So yeah, we're glad that some of you are getting some luck. So yeah, I think just people who are late, on Monday we're on Clay's After Dark, which is going to be at 7 p.m. UTC, and that's a Twitter space that is run by the Clay's social team, I believe. So that should be quite interesting. Just going on there, I don't know if there's an agenda or whatever, like in terms of like questions that they generally ask. I think Adam's a bit more familiar with them, really. And then we're going to be going on Cardano over coffee. Hopefully next week. We'll see. I've bookmarked like the 20th, which is the Friday next week. But we'll see. I still need to book the slot. There's been a bit of traffic as well recently, haven't there? Been a few sales, a few Knitty sales, which is really cool to see. I don't know what the floor price is at the moment. It's not something that we really keep an eye on, but yeah, it's pretty cool when you see it go up a little bit. This is still building in the background. Yeah, there's my build bar. It's really annoying, the WebGL builds, like, because I think I said last time they just use a single core to build at the moment, which is really annoying. And like if you're doing a local build, it'll just use all the cores, so it's like super quick when you do a local build. Oh, so yeah, when it hit 100 floor, people listed load probably. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Okay, let's check this out. So let's do an eternal link. Okay, so there we go. Now what I've noticed is the eternal connection takes a bit longer than the NAMI connection. The NAMI connection is way faster. So that's my eternal. And NAMI's taking a bit of time now. That's interesting. Do I try it again? Oh, there we go. Okay. Must have clicked off the screen. There we go. You see how quick NAMI is in comparison? It's so much quicker. So yeah, I'm going to just, here we go, 1,470,000 unique combinations per S1. Pretty crazy. That is crazy, isn't it? Silly numbers. I have got quite a lot of S2s though. But yeah, not all of them. Like you can see the skateboards missing here. Okay, let's do a few shuffles and get to a point that we're happy with. I still need to revisit the Batman helmet and change the eyes because it just looks weird with certain combinations. That's kind of cool. That's the maxi hat. Backward facing maxi hat. If I had like a yellow... Are there any Knitties with a yellow hoodie? I can't remember if there are. We just spin through and just see. Oh, there's one. There we go. Let's go for a yellow setup then. That's about as yellow as I've got. And I will go with this. There we go. Okay, looking pretty cool. What expression do we want? Chief, mischief. That isn't the mischief expression, that's a dead expression, but mischief isn't in there just yet. I really like the astro expression as well. I think it's just really nice. But yeah, we're going to go with switch. And I'll save this and go into the arena. So there are lots of UI things that I do need to do. One of the requests is obviously like you're about to enter the arena having not saved your Knitty. But also one of the things I need to do is save the Knitty locally to your machines so that when it loads up, like you don't have to find all the combinations again. Okay, so I'm going to go into just the default Knitties room and we'll see what happens. So there's no one playing at the moment. Well, not in the Knitties room anyway. But you should all be able to join this if you just use that Knitties code with the web link that hopefully you've all got. I think everyone's got it. I mean, this is the newer build, so it's not the old build link that's in the previous YouTube video. This is the latest build, so yeah, and they're not compatible. I think these large back pieces are going to be quite popular, so we'll definitely be doing a drop with a few more of like I don't know, butterfly wings, that sort of thing. Oh, here's someone. So this is like, this is running, there's no lag compensation going on here. This is like direct feed from the other client, which is pretty cool. I mean, the relay that this is fixed to at the moment is the US relay. Oh, there's someone else, look. Oh, did you see them come across then? Bit of a weird, yeah, lag type situation going on there. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like you do get a little bit of this sliding around, and that's basically down to the region. I think like people in the US, like the relay is the US relay, so it just for them it just seems to be a bit faster, I think. But we found that this was the most stable and smooth solution for the local user. And what you do get as well, which is another reason that one of the developer I mentioned previously is switching to a app-based build, is when browsers aren't active, or the tab isn't active, like it doesn't update as frequently. And one of the things that you'll get is if I were to drop out of here and do something else in another window for about a minute, what's going to happen is my screen's going to like update with all of the updates that got sent to it but weren't processed, and then you get loads of like weird ice skating and stuff going around. Oh, there's someone else in here now. Someone forgot to save their Knitty, look. You see that, like ice skating side to side and stuff. I mean, the cool thing is that we're still able to like interact with it in the same environment, but yeah, there is a little bit of that odd sort of movement, and yeah, we'll keep working on it as we get more and more familiar with network multiplayer. We'll get better at doing this stuff. Yeah, like I'm on a different version, but I've got this different expression, right? Can you see? You shouldn't be able to see my expression, right? So I've got an expression that you don't have because it's not in there. So I shouldn't have an expression. I shouldn't have the Twitch expression or the Switch expression. Sorry, for you guys. But everything else should be. Oh, hang on, pirate shoes either. Do I have what shoes do I have? Are pirate shoes in the latest build? Oh, they might be actually. Red shoes, yes. Okay, so they're not in the latest booster build, right? But I can see them, so you know, yeah. So yeah, this is I think what we're going to be doing is we'll be adding in at some point a yeah, you can create a private room, but you can also select a server region. Well, not a server; it's like a relay, more like. But and then you can sort of like decide which one works best for you. Because we're not doing an authoritative server setup, as I mentioned previously, it's very expensive to run that sort of stuff. You know, maybe it could be in the future that we did it. Maybe. Why can't I get up there? That's so weird. Oh, yeah, there we go. I do have an idea for like something to do here, like with collaborative kind of platforming, which could be quite interesting. I'm quite excited to explore that potential here. Well, like one of the most annoying levels in Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider, was something called St. Francis Folly, which was this vertical 3D platforming level, and it was really annoying because like you'd fall down sometimes, you'd have to get all the way back up there. It was really annoying. And I'm thinking of doing something like that with like puzzles along the way, like collaborative puzzles and all that kind of stuff. That would be really cool. So it's kind of like an arena, an arena, but with lots of puzzles and stuff to solve along the way, which would be pretty cool. And then, you know, I want the arenas to be a bit different to the nooks. So there's like arenas that can be played. Like I've explained this previously, haven't I? But I can do like capture the flag and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. What is that called? Is it called the floss, that dance? I think it's called the floss. But yeah, it looks pretty smooth. I think Potato's the one who's jumping around like as well as me, and possibly the others are possibly in the US or something. But I mean, it's running pretty smooth. Like I can see Potato's animation is pretty smooth. It's also very heavily dependent. This type of mode, this networking mode, which client authoritative, is very dependent on the client's machine and connection and all that kind of stuff. So, and because there's no lag compensation in this type of networking, it's quite challenging to deal with networking issues. This is like, and I think that networking difficulties is why a lot of independent games in terms of multiplayer, like lots of multiplayer independent games don't use like real time stuff going on. Like how many indie beat 'em ups are there? Right? How many like small team indie beat 'em ups? You know, there aren't many. I mean, beat 'em ups are like, you need button on frame precision, right? You need like 60 frames a second or whatever it is you're running at, frame precision, like on the ticks over the network. So, and yeah, online multiplayer notoriously is not great for achieving that. But certainly you want to be getting quite close to that, especially for something like Street Fighter, where you've got frame interrupts and all that kind of stuff. You need to have that kind of level of precision in there. And to do that, you need a pretty powerful server setup to be able to achieve that. And we don't have that, but then we're not that kind of game either, so... It took a little bit of time there for Potato just to drop down. That might be because his browser isn't active. Like, it's not the front tab. And it just took a little while for the update to go through to it. And then to come back to me and the other players. So any sort of gameplay mechanics that we design need to accommodate this. They need to be built around these restrictions. So yeah. It's pretty cool. Just 4 people in here for now. Maybe we'll try and get a 16-player thing going up soon. Next couple of days, maybe. That'd be really awesome to get going. But yeah, I need to change up this arena as well because people are going to be getting sick of it. But I also need to add all these new assets in there. Oh, and we've also got server migration now, right? So I can't. Who was in first? Was I in first? But like, if the tab gets quit, like, the migration's just seamless now. So you won't even notice that it's migrated. I don't think you notice it's migrated. Yeah. So yeah, I need to get a bit more stuff going on in here in terms of like visuals and that kind of stuff. I think it's probably about time for us to move out of this alpha environment. Okay, so if I was first, right, so if I just quit the browser, and I'll leave, you should see me leave, and then basically it migrates to one of you. Whoever's got the, I think it's whoever's got the best ping, it migrates to, or the best tick rate, basically. So yeah. Oh, hang on, I can tick off chief expression here, can't I? One less job to do. Just 102 assets to add. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So that's where we're up to, and that build looked like it's pretty good. So Adam's not up yet, so I'm not actually going to send that one to him. But what I'll do is, I don't think he's up. Let me just check my other chats. No, I don't think he's up yet. So what I'll do is I'll just add a few more bits. Are there any requests for things to get added for the next version of the build, the next iteration? So I can just drop them in. There are a couple of things that I need to remake in terms of like textures, but I don't think anyone's going to request those because I don't think they'll be the most popular ones. Cosmo suit. So yeah, Cosmo trousers, I can get those in quite quickly. The top of Cosmo, yeah, I can probably do it actually. I'll take a look at it in a bit and see if we can get that in, because it's quite cool. Cause it's got like a big zip on it, isn't it? It's just pretty awesome. It's got like some cool graphics on it as well. It's got that Nostromo badge on it, like the sort of fake Nostromo badge, which is kind of cool. Yeah, because then you just run around as Cosmo, I guess. We're talking about like the next set of drops that we're going to be doing, like, which will only happen once we've got a functional like alpha environment. I mean, we can do a new set of drops and they appear in a customizer right away, but we want to have a nice UI for this, because we'll probably be onboarding a few new people into the ecosystem, which will be fantastic. We want to make sure they've got a really nice UI and the wallet connections connecting to any wallet that they've got and all that kind of stuff. And also make sure that the game environment actually looks like a Knitty game environment rather than just this testing area. So what we've been talking about is having like the drops will be done in such a way that you'll get, like, we'll do clothing sets or skin sets, I guess, which will be in collaboration with someone, or might be seasonal promotion or something like that, and you'll get each individual item as a separate NFT. So you might get like a you'll get a cap or whatever it is. You get all the items separate, and like if you don't like the shoes, you can sell the shoes. But there'll also be a mix, so you'll get like a mix of rarities probably. So I just found a bit of Lego on the floor. You pick that up, otherwise I'll lose it. So like, yeah, you might get the ultra rare cap and just like the common hoodie or whatever. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting. I think it's going to be quite a cool way of working moving forward. And it also means that in the clothing item policy, so it'll be a separate policy for the individual clothing items. Like shoes can all be filtered. Like if you wanted to check out what shoes were available for your Knitties, then you can just filter by shoes. But it also means that individual items, you can kind of like see the rarity of 4 individual items a bit more accurately by doing it that way, which I think is quite cool. I'm just going to join back in using the alpha link. Don't know if anyone's still on there. And obviously, like the Christmas present thing, that was just like temporary. It was just like showing what we could like kind of like employ as gameplay mechanics. So that needs to be addressed as well. Oh, it's weird now not having the newer interface, the newer options, and that it only connects to Nami. This iteration. It's really cool, like just hitting shuffle and then seeing stuff that you might never have seen before each time. Like I don't know if I have seen any like some of these before. I just don't know. Okay, we'll go with this. Switch mono hat. Switch mono hat. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I need to try and get switch, like everything from switch in there. Really. Yeah. I've only done 2 of the hats, I think, so far. Yeah. So yeah, it's all pretty cool. I think it's coming together really well, and there's been a bit of attention on social media and stuff, which is really cool. Still loads of work to do, obviously, and our development timeline is long. So, however, I think for me, the next sort of completion step, like we delivered the alpha, like this version of the alpha, and this sort of stage of where we're at. There's obviously getting all the assets in, but the next real sort of milestone for me is going to be once the UI is done and there is a nicely fleshed out arena for people to play in. It'll just be a single arena, because again, we don't want to invest too much time in producing gameplay and art commitment or art heavy sort of pieces of work or outputs without having first built all of the tooling that fits in behind it. So always those things might need to change, in which case it's wasted time. But having like all the UI sorted, all the loops sorted, so the menu system, volumes, all this sort of stuff all set up, having a nice arena in there where you can say, hey, have you heard about this project? Check out this. And you can, and someone without any Knitties can go in there, and there's a couple of different options for them they can pick from, and they can jump into the arena and they can interact with the community and the ecosystem and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of the ideal next step for me. And also having, like, you know, just a game world that's interesting to interact with and fun to play in, I guess. And then we can, once we've developed that, hopefully in a modular way, we can then start really quickly iterating and building new arenas quite quickly, hopefully. So yeah. Okay, so sorry, I just dropped out whilst Rowdy was dancing there. So yeah, if anyone's got anything they want to ask or talk about, then just drop it in the chat. And if not, then I think we'll wrap up a little bit early this time. There's not as much going on this time, I guess. I think the last stream, was it last week? I can't remember whether it was last week or not. Maybe I can't remember. It wasn't the... This is the first time that we've had the actual wallet connection on stream, I think. Or the publicly accessible wallet connection on stream. I think it's there's a lot of legacy work that needs to go on now. You know, like with all the getting all the assets in. The list is still quite long of things I need to add. Obviously, it's like 102 items that I need to get in there. Finding them, like going through the archives and grabbing them off of the S2s, and then I've got to bring them into the newer S2 format, which is a bit different. I've got to map them against that, then I've got to skin them, then I've got to bring them into Unity, transfer a few bits from them, get the materials on, and then add it to the asset list. That takes quite a bit of time at the moment, that whole process. Oh, and I need to get the some more of the black label stuff in, actually, because there was Citada. Is it Citada? Earlier, wanted to get access, but the black label stuff would just throw up an error because I haven't put all of the black label assets in yet. Yes, it's harder. Okay. Well, I think if there's not much more to talk about, then we'll call it a day for this week. I think it is a bit like we took a few big steps the last few weeks and like made loads of progress whilst I was off real life work. You know, I'm back at real life work now, so progress will be a little bit, won't be as fast as it has been, but we did get a load of stuff done previously. So I think once we get the like arena more interesting and actually having gameplay mechanics, like social gameplay mechanics in there, then I think that's when things are going to sort of kick off again a little bit. But for now, I think it's really interesting just seeing all the Knitties that people have got and all the different customizations that they make, and expanding that asset set in the future so that we start seeing like hundreds and thousands of different possible like combinations in each slot would be really amazing. So people can, like, at the moment I think people will be going towards specific types of asset, like the pirate jacket looks really cool, or the Meeper assets look really cool, the Meeper collaboration, or they'll be going towards specific types of hoodie or whatever. I don't think you'll see many of the sort of basic hoodies in use, unfortunately. People will be going to the bigger assets, and I think that or the more obvious assets, and I think in the future we need more of those, basically. So we're figuring out like what we can do to get more sort of striking assets in there, more range within that asset set where people are going to be using them more regularly. Okay, so we'll call it day then. So thanks for coming along, and just drop into the Discord chat if you've got anything that you'd like to see us do. I'm going to probably add a couple more things to this build and then send over to Adam, so keep an eye out for an announcement on that. We might make it a bit wider available. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm a bit skeptical about like how people receive this stuff when it is early alpha, when the buttons don't look fancy and all that kind of stuff. The Makosi latest alpha has got some, like the screenshot from that's got some really lovely UI design on it, and I'm not committing any work into UI design at the moment because I'm developing a different UI system specific for this. So I need to develop that first and then slot the artwork into that system. So yeah, well, let us know what you think about us making this a bit more widely available, whether it will be well received or not. Okay, so thanks for coming, and we'll hopefully see you again next week. See you soon.